Hello, everyone! We're so glad to have you! Welcome to this brand new reality talk show called Total Pokemon Action: The Aftermath. We're your hosts, Furret and Spinnerack, and we'd like to give a warm welcome to the Poffin Gallery. Say hello to fellow competitors of Season 1 who didn't make the cut, just like yours truly. Please welcome Squirtle, Lucario, and Gengar. Wow, so many people! Hello! Greetings, fellow audience members. Hey. So, folks, if the title didn't give it away, we're hosting a talk show where we bring the contestants who were voted out of Season 2 and interview them. But that's not all. We'll have fun games to play with the audience watching live, and the audience watching this at home on their favorite video uploading platform. Wink, wink. And much more. So let's get on with introducing the first guest. He's not very known for his smarts. In fact, he might not have that many smarts, although that doesn't stop him. His brain might be small, but he makes up for it with his big heart. Give a warm round of applause for the lovable green elf himself, Carnivine! Welcome to the TDA Aftermath show, Carnivine. How are you doing? Hey Ferret, hey Spinny Right. It's been a while. This is so cool. Where'd you get all these people? It's Ferret and Spinnerack, Carnivine. Now before we begin the interview, let's do a quick and short refresh on anyone who isn't familiar with our pal Carnivine here. Carnivine was introduced in Season 1 with the original 10 contestants. He was placed on the Twirling Talos. Even though he wasn't the smartest competition on the island, he managed to surprise us all. He made it into the merge and found a spot in the final 7. Sadly though, due to an unfortunate circumstance, he was eliminated, but not before dealing the most shocking and savage comeback in total Pokemon history. You're nasty and mean and just an awful Pokemon! So good. Ugh, you two just had to show that. You guys suck. Sorry, Gengar. I was just mad. I hope your feelings didn't get hurt, but you were a big jerkwad in Season 1. Yeah. Anyways, Carnivine was one of the lucky 12 contestants to make it to Season 2. However, after humiliating defeat against Gengar, Carnivine found himself eliminated. So sad. What goes around comes around. That must have been slightly discouraging for you, Carnivine, especially since your alliance mates from the first season, Pachirisu and Medicham, voted for you. Do you know why they do that? No, I don't think so. In fact, it's all a blur to me. It's no biggie though, I'm fine with it. Missing out on 1 million Pokédollars? And your response is no biggie? Well, that's Carnivine for you folks. Another question, Carnivine. Anyone who's still in the competition that you want to see make it far? Well, Medicham? Or Kricketune? Or Electivire? I mean anyone to be honest, although I think Medicham might be able to win. She's a strong team leader after all. She's so nice and cool. I see. Any thoughts, Lucario? Do you agree with Carnivine's statements? Yes. While this would be considered my own bias, I believe Medicham has done a good job of maintaining the morale of her team for the most part. You sure it's more than bias, Lucario? Well, yes, what else would it be? Love! What? Why so jumpy, Lucario? It caught me by surprise. I'm sure you'd find it quite shocking too. Okay guys, let's bring it back. Okay, so our last question for you, Carnivine, is this. What was your reaction to seeing Butterfree make it into the game? Ooh. I was really surprised. I don't know what else to say. I hope she's not as mean like she was last season. She sounds like she's different, but it's kinda hard to trust her, especially since she hated Electivire so much. I see. Well, Carnivine, thank you for answering our questions. And now, before we introduce our next two guests, it's time for... Who's that Pokemon speaking? The rules are simple. We'll be playing an audio recording of a character's line that they've said on the show. What you have to do, audience members, is guess which contestant is speaking. So, let's start with the first line, shall we? I'm too young to be a pink. Whoa! So, folks, who do you think said this line? Was it A, Duat, B, Electabuzz, or C, Pikachu? Let's play him back one more time, buddy. I'm too young to be a pink. Whoa! Time's up. The correct answer is C, Pikachu. On to the next one.
Don't worry, I'll keep a close eye on him in this challenge.
Okay, guys, this one might be a bit more tricky. Is it A, Chatot, B, Medicham, or C, Ponyta? Let's hear it one more time.
Don't worry, I'll keep a close eye on him in this challenge.
Time over. The correct answer to this one is B, Medicham. We're on the last one, folks. Now see if you can decipher who this is.
Electabuzz, where'd you go? Whoa, holy free holies!
Now, which one of these campers said the line? Was it A, Squirtle, B, Cricketune, or C, Pachirisu?
Electabuzz, where'd you go? Whoa, holy free holies!
Did you guys answer C? If so, you got it right. The answer was C, Pachirisu. Great work, guys. Now, wasn't that fun? Total up your score to see what you got. If you got 3 out of 3 right, you sure got great listening ears, like me. If you got 2 out of 3 right, you were almost there into getting a perfect score. And if you got 1 or less right, well, maybe brush up on your total Pokemon characters. I'm sure you'll do better next time in... Who's that Pokemon speaking? The time has come, guys, to introduce the last 2 guests for the evening. This will be a double feature of 2 lovers who've been through it all, from competing against each other to being separated from each other, even having to say goodbye to each other. We'd like you to welcome the boyfriend and girlfriend finalists of Total Pokemon Island, with one of them being the Season 1 victor herself, Pachirisu and Duat. Welcome, guys. So glad to have you here. Thanks for having us, Spinnerack and Ferret. It's so cool how you guys got this TV talk show. Yeah, it's incredible. We're so lucky to be here, and together as well. Aw, how I miss your sweetness, Dewey. Aww. Such a sweet romantic display of affection, which will have to be saved for later. Let's begin a short recap of these 2. Pachirisu was also one of the 10 original contestants introduced at the start of Season 1. She was placed on the Jolting Jolteons. Pachirisu attempted to form an alliance with Medicham and Carnivine, who were on the opposing team. That spelled trouble for her. That is until she laid eyes on Duat when he was just a wee little Oshawott. He was placed on Pachirisu's team. That's where Duat began to fall for her. Luckily for him, the feeling was mutual. Both Duat and Pachirisu made it far enough to face off against each other in the finale to claim the title of Total Pokemon Island victor. Thankfully for Pachirisu, she came out as the winner. Although in Season 2, things didn't turn out to be so lucky for the 2 lovers. They were placed on separate teams due to Electabuzz, who was an Elekid at the time. Electabuzz purposefully split up the couples by choosing the one who wasn't taken. In this case, it was Duat. When Duat later discovered that Skrillex was a mole working undercover for a sinister Pokemon by the name Madam D, who is no longer sabotaging the game, by the way, Madame D threatened to hurt Pachirisu if Duat didn't find a way to draw suspicion away from Swirlix. So Duat ended up quitting the competition to ensure Pachirisu's safety. This left our victor Pachirisu sad, and she decided she had enough of being away from Duat with little to no explanation. She begged her teammates into voting her off, and her wish was granted, which is where they stand now. They gave up the competition for each other, for love. So, that begs the question. How do the two of you feel about the one who was responsible for all this?
Well, if the person you're talking about is Swirlix, then all I can say is, he definitely screwed up and lost all trust from everyone in the show.
Yikes, that's harsh.
But I don't hate him. Don't get me wrong. I think Swirlix should take some responsibility for what he did. Not just for what he did to Duat and I, but to everything he was involved in. This doesn't mean I'm willing to trust him on the spot, but I'm a believer in second chances. So far, it looks like Swirlix wants to put in the effort.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm neutral when it comes to how I feel about Swirlix. I don't think he's a bad Pokemon, or an evil Pokemon by a long shot. I do think that actions have consequences, and Swirlix seems like he's maturing enough to deal with those consequences. I'll form a more positive opinion on him until he starts showing more sincerity. So what about when he attempted to cover his tracks with that memory erasing dust he used on the Gyarados? That wouldn't make either of you upset at him?
Learning about it eventually, in that moment, it did make me very upset. Pikachu was being deceived right before his eyes. I wish I had done something, but I was so caught up in my own problems, I was so frustrated. It made me feel a bit guilty.
Don't feel guilty, Pachirisu. I should be the one to feel guilty. Had I had more courage to explain things to you, instead of quitting the game, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Dewey, I forgive you. Just promise you'll never do something like that again.
I won't. Aww. You guys are such a sweet couple.
Let's get on to the next question. So this one goes to Pachirisu.
Do you regret not taking your 100,000 Pokédollars and having to be part of Season 2?
Absolutely not. I don't regret it at all. In fact, I wasn't in this for the money in the first place. Even back in Season 1, I'm just glad to have made some friends.
And Duat, you two had spent so much time with one another in Season 1. Did Season 2 ruin any advancements you wanted to take in your relationship? No, not really. Even if Pachirisu and I were put on separate teams, she and I made things work. We've both still loved each other, and we would come to say hi once in a while when there weren't any challenges. Speaking of separate teams, do you guys resent Electabuzz for what he did?
It was just a strategy. Sure, it was a bit mean, but he seems to realize that what he did in the past was wrong, so I forgive him.
Yeah, same. I don't have any hard feelings towards Electabuzz. Thank you for your answers, guys. Now here's our last segment for today. It's time to introduce our next segment, Total Pokemon After Hours. Here we show the audience members never-before-seen footage of behind the scenes, what actually happens when the cameras aren't shooting for an episode.
Wait, you mean...
Oh boy. This is going to get good.
Let's play the clips! Oh, this is kind of embarrassing.
Aw, that's so cute. Wow. I don't know which one of those clips showed the biggest loser. I guess since you two are standing in front of us, I'd say it goes to you two.
Shut it, Gengar!
That was so silly, but cool.
You two are relationship goals! Thanks, Squirtle?
We're sorry about that, guys. This is all in good fun. Don't worry, we have more where that came from. But thank you to Duat and Pachirisu. Give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Before we sign off, guys, we have submissions from Pokefans who have burning questions that are begging to be answered. If you guys want your questions to be featured, there's a link below to video instructions on how to get into contact with the producer Bouncy, with him explaining how to send a question to him so we can feature it here. Alright, let's get started with the first question submitted to us from Musical Malouetta.
Hey guys, Musical here. Thanks for featuring me. So, my question goes to Duat. Duat, are you feeling bad that you left Pachirisu all alone? I mean, she cried for you, you cold-hearted jerk!
No, I mean, yes, I do feel bad. It's just, not this again. Yes, I feel bad, but I wish I could have done more. I'm a bad boyfriend.
Dewey, I don't think she meant it in a serious way.
Thank you, Musical, for the question. Let's get into this next question from Charismatic Crawdon. The question is, Duat, if you've been keeping up with the show, how do you feel knowing that Swirlix caused your elimination? Are you bitter towards him, or do you understand where he was coming from? Well, I mentioned earlier that I'm quite neutral about Swirlix, so I wouldn't say I'm bitter towards him, but he has quite a bit to go to earn some trust from me or Pachirisu. Even though he is indirectly responsible for causing my elimination, he wasn't the one to threaten me or Pachirisu. I can sort of understand why Swirlix was just a bystander through all this, but I feel so guilty and mad at myself that I couldn't do more.
Oh, Dewey.
Alright, this one is also from Charismatic Crawdont. To Carnivine, what's your IQ? I'm only asking to confirm whether or not you're acting dumb or not.
Yeah, right. As if Carnivine knows what an IQ score is. I'm not as much of a dum-dum as I seem to be, Gengar. For your information, I do know what an IQ score is. Oh, really? What does IQ stand for, then? It stands for Intelligent Quotient. I took one for free online a few months ago. My score was inconclusive, meaning I was too smart for the test. For a second, he had me believe his score was surprisingly high. At least he knows what an IQ score is.
Poor Carnivine. I guess not everyone can match up to an IQ score of 210 like me.
Yeah. Wait, what? Your IQ is 210?
I know, I didn't believe it at first, but then...
Final question. Okay, so this one is from Hawaiian Halucha. Duat, how does it feel to lose to Pachirisu again? Is this about me placing lower than her? Well, to be honest, Hawaiian, I don't really mind, nor do I really care I lost to her again. She's my girlfriend, and all I really care about is I can spend time with her. It was never about the competition to me. Well, folks, that's all we have for questions. Don't worry, we'll feature even more questions submitted to us from our lovely fans. In fact, the questions are not just limited to the guests, as you might think. It can be anyone, the Poffin Gallery, or even us, your lovely hosts. Please thank our wonderful guests for answering our questions, and yours too. We'd like to thank the audience members too. We hope to see you again in the next thrilling episode of
Total Pokemon Action, the Aftermath Show.
Hey, Ponyta. Hey, great job, guys. You were all great out there. Thanks. Ponyta, are you going to be ready for interviewing next episode? I'm not so sure, but I promise I'll go on next time. I'm sorry for making this harder than it needs to be. It's just too soon for me, you know?
It's okay, Ponyta. No need to worry.
I find it quite funny, though. The fact I'm fine with the camera crew following me around and filming me, but spilling my guts out to a live crowd, that just makes me uneasy, apparently. It's kind of dumb the more I think about it. No, it's not dumb, Ponyta. That's completely normal. If there's a question that comes up you don't want to answer, we'll let you know. We still need to interview you regardless, but we won't force you to talk about things you don't want to. Thanks, guys.